How's it going, everybody out there? Chris Card's back with another Through the Mail Monday 5. Wonderful returns for you today. Our first one comes to us from Orlando Pena. Orlando Pena, nice 14-year career from 1958 all the way to 1974. Pitched all the way until he was 41 years old. 8 different teams in those 14 years. A lot of teams towards the end just kept trading him because they were afraid his arm was going to fall off, and it never did. Kept on pitching, and there you go. Index card signed with a Mucha Swainy. I don't know what. I know what. Shouldn't it be Mucho? There's my letter request. Does that mean dream? Sueño means dream, I think, or sleep. I don't know. You guys will have to figure. You guys will have to tell me what that means down below. And I'm pretty good at Spanish, and I don't quite know what that is. So maybe I'm not good at Spanish. Look at these returns, gang. Blue Sharpie, inscribed with his number there. Very nice. Look at that 75 Topps card. They're just tough. Looks like he changed the number up depending on what card he was signing. That's an attention to detail right there. In 1955, the Cincinnati Reds went to Havana, Cuba, watched 286 players work out. They only signed 3 of those players. One of those players, of course, was Orlando Pena. It would be an incredibly irrelevant story if he wasn't one of those players. And I don't have any more relevant stories about Mr. Orlando Pena. So let's just move on to our next return. Thank you very much, Mr. Pena. They look great. All right, second return, another one with an address label on it. Tito Fuentes. Tito Fuentes played for 13 years, also from Cuba. In fact, he was one of the last signed out of Cuba before the U.S. started their little embargo against Cuba, and we stopped getting baseball players from there the conventional way. Spent 9 years with the Giants. Second baseman. Member of the Giants Wall of Fame. And there you go. 1970 Topps signed very nicely by Mr. Tito Fuentes. He was a hot dog. He was the Ricky Henderson of his time. Some say Ricky Henderson times like 10. Like he was pretty flamboyant, would bounce his bat off the plate and flip it and catch it midair, and that's how he would, start his at bat. And he got hit a lot. He was also a player in the John Roseboro, Juan Marichal fiasco. If you guys remember, I got Juan Marichal last year, maybe 2 years ago by now. He hit John Roseboro with his bat, bloodied him up. Mr. Tito Fuentes was on deck for that little hullabaloo and charged the mess with his own bat. Did not hit anybody with it, thankfully. But pretty solid member of the Giants. You Giants fans from back in the day, or even baseball fans from back in the day, you might remember him. Pretty nice to get these back. Signed that nice 1974 Topps card. And yes, Orlando Pena has a 74 Topps card. I did not send him, so yeah, I got to send him that 74 Topps card. So there you have it, guys. Tito Fuentes, awesome return. Let's move on to our third return of the day. All right, let's see who is behind door number 3 from Casper, Wyoming, hometown of Mike Devereaux and Dick Cheney. FYI. And we've got a few vintage in here. It's a vintage Through the Mail Monday. We got Bud Daly. Bud Daly, nice. 10-year career. 4 of those with Kansas City. 4 of those with the Yanks, including World Series championships in 61 and 62. And he didn't sign that one. That was him with the Cleveland Baseball Club. He played 3 years for them. Must not have enjoyed his time there. He totally ghosted me on that signature, but that's fine. We got 4 out of 5 from Mr. B.D. Bud. Kind of a knuckleball pitcher. Also had a couple different curves he threw. Had one arm shorter than the other by about an inch. I'm not sure which arm was shorter than the other. He had lots of problems as a baby. His mother had lots of problems with him. He was all messed up. Had paralysis to his right arm after birth due to a forceps pinching a nerve. And this was way back in the day, 1932. But Thankfully, with a little bit of therapy and all that jazz, he was able to come out of it unscathed. Maybe one arm was a little longer than the other, but who cares? He was a major league pitcher for 10 years. Everything seemed to work out for him. Proficient fisherman, good golfer. Also served as a fifth infielder, and he was a pretty good hitter, so he could pretty much do it all, as a lot of pitchers could back in the day. His mother, not mother of the year, said, "No one wanted a baby more than I did, but Buddy was so crippled I didn't want him to live." Ouch. Someone take her best mother ever coffee mug away from her. That's not something you say in public or out loud or even to yourself. But she did. But that's probably not as messed up as some of the other stories I've told here on Through the Mail Monday. So let's leave it at that. Really glad to get Mr. Bud Dwyer back. And I screwed up his last name. Not Bud Dwyer. No one wants to be Bud Dwyer. That was even worse. That's an even worse story. Bud Daly. There we go. Okay. I'm done now. On to our next return. All right, return number 4 comes to us from Kansas City. There it is. KC Mo. Sort of bent up here a little bit and kind of opened up a little bit. Let's just go ahead and be careful here and just tear the bent part. Index card, unsigned, and a SPCC card of Al Fitzmaurice. Right there looking dapper in his royal blue. He was an original member of the Kansas City Royals, drafted in 1968, 40th overall pick in the expansion draft. He stayed with the Royals for 8 years before being drafted by the Blue Jays in yet another expansion draft in 1976. So this guy was on 2 expansion teams, an original Blue Jay and an original Royal. He didn't last long on the Blue Jays. They shipped him off to the Cleveland baseball team not long after he was drafted. But there you go, guys. 4 nicely signed cards from Al Fitzmaurice. There you go. There you have it. 74 card for my set. Properly inserted this time. Got that back signed. Very nice. And there you guys go. I like getting those SPCC cards signed. And that's it, guys. Last return of the day. Let's go. All right, gang. Return number 5. Thanks for joining me on this Monday's Through the Mail Monday. Hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already. I do this every single Monday. Would love to have you along for the ride. Let's figure out who this last return is from New York, New York. That's always exciting. And this one is trashed, but I think the cards are still in it, at least probably all the ones I sent. Vito Valentinetti. Just rolls off the tongue. Look at that. Signed very nicely there in blue. Played 5 years in the bigs. Lost 2 of those years during the Korean War. Spent 2 years in the military after graduating from Iona. 108 total MLB games in those 5 years. Many different teams he played for. After baseball, he became the batting practice pitcher for the Mets and the Yankees. I'm not sure how that worked out, but Valentinetti threw for the Mets from their initial season in 62 until 82 and pitched for the Yankees from 67 to 86. So that's a long time to be a batting practice pitcher. Apparently his shoulder injury wasn't bad enough to hinder him from batting practice pitching anyway. So, of course, obviously there's not the strain on it, but what do I know about batting practice pitchers? Not a whole lot. I just know this guy did it for a long time, and he signed these cards very nicely. Great way to cap off yet another Through the Mail Monday, guys. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Hope everyone has a great week. Thanks for joining me. Let me know what you thought of this week's returns down below in the comment section. And that will do it. Hope everyone is set for opening day on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Basketball season officially ended last night because my Ducks got bounced from the tourney, from the big dance from USC. I think Gonzaga's going to probably win the whole thing. Anyway, so it's all a moot point. They look unstoppable this year, but pretty much every sport is dead to me right now except MLB. So I'm pretty excited about that. And hope you guys are too. Some of you guys probably are. And that's it. That's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for joining me as always. See ya.